In this video we're going to talk about doing some lighting effects. Basically we're going to cover how to use channels to make a selection, how to create volumetric lighting, and basically use some saturation techniques to make an image more dramatic. So we're going to start by opening Photoshop, and you want to open up the image that came in your zip file called lighting.jpg. Okay, the first thing we do, like I always like to do, is we're going to go ahead and make a copy of this background layer. I'm just going to call it background. This way if I screw up I still have my original if I want to go back to refer to it. Okay, after we have that done, next thing we want to do is go to our channels tab, which is located here. If you don't see this, then go up to Windows and make sure you have channels selected. Okay, so the idea of using channels is to basically isolate colors, and with those isolated colors we're going to allow Photoshop to make a selection based off that. So what we want to do is find an image or a color in the channel that's as contrasty as possible. Since our background is blue, it's going to be blue. You can see here that that's by far the most contrasted between the sky element and the pillars and the tree. So we're going to stick with blue. Okay, the next thing we're going to want to do is create a new channel and copy this channel into that. So what we do is just click and drag that into this icon of create a new channel, and that's going to give us our copy of our blue channel. Okay, after that we're going to be using the levels tool to exaggerate and refine this even more. We're going to be using the eyedropper tools. Okay, the one on the left is to set black point, the one on the right is for white point, and I'll show you what that means in a second. So we're going to click on the black one first, and we're going to hit our values that we want to be black. Okay, and you can refine that a little bit more. Try to get this as black as possible. Okay, now I'm going to set the white point. We're going to hit the sky. The idea is to get these two elements as contrasted as possible. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, you don't have to worry about it getting super perfection. You're always going to have a little bit that isn't quite black or white, but this is pretty good. Okay, to refine it even more, we're simply going to use a paintbrush and just manually black out these areas. Again, you don't have to go too crazy, you just want to get the stuff that's really obvious. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to convert this channel to a selection. We do that by holding the control key down and clicking our blue copy channel that we created. You can see the marching ants, that's now indicating that we have a selection. So we're going to go back to our layers, and we're going to select our background layer. With this layer selected, okay, we're going to use our gradient tool. Okay, and you want to adjust your colors so you have like a soft, almost yellow color on this side of the spectrum, and then pure white on the other side of the spectrum. Okay, once you have that, you're just going to click and drag. Okay, so that you have more yellow on the outside and more white towards the building structure. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to copy that into a new layer. We're going to call this layer volume light. I'm going to paste that in there. Now I'm going to duplicate this volume light layer. I'm going to call this glow. That'll make sense in a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the volume light layer. We're going to go to our filter. I'm going to go to blur. We're going to go to radial blur. You want to set the blur method to zoom, and you can bring your amount up fairly high. You can really play with this to get it to how you like it. To really exaggerate the effect, I'm going to put it pretty high up. And if you click and drag in this little preview window here, it's going to show the perspective that the filter is going to apply as. So you want to kind of match it to how your light source is coming. So we made our light source kind of coming from there, so that should be okay. Now, depending upon your computer, this could take quite a while to do at best quality, but it's probably worth it to do so. So just be patient as it renders. So we're going to hit OK. Like I said, it's going to take a little while here. Okay, so that gave us some pretty cool volume light. The only problem that we have now is that it doesn't look like the actual image itself is bright enough to be casting that kind of lighting. So that's what the glow is for. So we're going to select our glow layer here. We're going to go to filter again. We're going to go to blur. We're going to go to Gaussian blur. Okay, and you want to just blur this out a lot so it looks like the light is really intense. You know, you can adjust this to get it how you like it. There's really no right or wrong way. Okay, so then we hit OK, and you can see now that it's starting to, you know, take shape and be really dramatic. Okay, one of the final things I like to do to really sell it is I'm going to select my background. Okay, I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments. We're going to go to Hue Saturation. What we want to do is just bring our saturation down a little bit, so we take some of the color out. This adds a lot of, you know, it makes it a lot more dramatic. And there you go. So with a few steps, we turned this relatively normal photograph into something that's, you know, a lot more dramatic and interesting, that can be used in, you know, menu design or print work. So that's it.